What's the word, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of What's the Word podcast. I'm your host, DeQuan, and we don't get our other co-host today. He's gonna be busy all day, but let's go ahead and get straight into what y'all here for so far. I know y'all have seen so far this morning. It's already 8:32. I'm sure a lot of y'all up. James Harden, he did get traded to the Clippers. Last episode, we talked about what was next for Harden and should the Clippers actually trade for him. I can't remember if I said that they should or should not, but I did say Clippers do need to do something, and I did predict they were gonna have something done by trade deadline. But my uncle said that they should stay packed because it was looking all right. But I talked to him today. He said he don't think the Clippers gonna win the championship because they do get James Harden. That's interesting. But let me go ahead and read y'all the full trade details because it all done came out by now. I had another episode already recorded, but they came out with some new details. Woj. So I'm going to read these to y'all. So the Clippers, they obviously got James Harden. They also got PJ Tucker from this deal. They had to give up Marcus Morris, Nick Batum, Robert Covington, KJ Martin, a 2028 unprotected first round pick, and then they traded away 2 second-round picks and a pick swap with another first being in the making. That was when I first recorded the video. Now, by the time I was done with the video, the Clippers had sent the OKC Thunder a 2027 first round swap, and then Oklahoma, that made way for them to be able to send a protected first round pick to the Sixers. I don't know if that's I think I read that it was heavily protected, but I don't know to what extent. I don't know if it's a top 3 protected, lottery protected, or how that worked. But then I seen that the Clippers, they sent the 2024 and 2029 second round pick to the Sixers. So, I mean, I feel like this right here is a really good trade for the Sixers. They was able to get off of disgruntled James Harden. They was able to get back a lot of some rotational pieces. They was able to salvage it. Obviously, it isn't what you had to give up in an All-Star and Ben Simmons, but we see how Ben Simmons playing right now. He getting. I think he'll be able to get back to the All-Star form. I think last night he just had 10 points, 10 rebounds, and 8 assists, or maybe it was 8 boards and 10 assists. It was one or the other. But Ben Simmons, he's been looking pretty good. We knew that I knew after a year of him getting back into the swing of things, coming back from back injury, I knew it was going to take some time. And I think he's still going to take another year just to get back into averaging 15 plus points per game. I know some people gave up on it completely, but I think 10 points with 7. I think 10, 7, and 8 is a successful season for Ben. But that's pretty much all I got to talk about for this one, because the bulk of this episode will be about mental health, the American dream, and should you go to college. So I'm not the person to tell y'all if y'all should go to college or not, but I can just only give y'all my experiences and people that I've seen around me go to college. I done seen people go straight from high school, be like, oh, I've been told all my life that I need to go to college. They'll go straight into college and waste their time and money, immediately flunk out because this isn't what they want to do. So if you're a high school student right now and you're thinking, should I go to college or should I take a year off? Take a year off. Because if you're down it, then you really don't want to go. And if you don't want to go and you end up there, you're going to kind of start falling back, falling off, and not doing what you're supposed to do. Because when you're in college, you really are in the free, like you're free. You're not going to have a professor emailing you and say, hey, you need to go, make sure you come to class today or blah, blah, blah. Unless you just go to a really small school where everybody, like where professors care about you, y'all get a personal relationship. But even then, they're not going to email you and tell you to come. They're just going to ask you why you ain't been to class once you get there. So you still can flunk out. And some institutions they do where you can only miss 3 classes for the whole semester in one class. Like, then you're done. But others, they got different. All the classes got different attendance rules. But if you know that you really don't want to go to school, then you don't need to waste your time going to that institution. And then you also, whatever you want to do, you need to see. My bad, I just heard something downstairs. And if it's something that you want to do, explore your options. If you really don't want to go to college, see if there's other things that you could do, because there's TCAS, you can get the trade, you can do all different types of stuff. You can get internships, you can do all that type of stuff. I know somebody who's a teacher, they don't have a degree. They just graduated, they went to school for about 1 year. They never got a degree. They just went on here, went straight into coaching and became a teacher. So there's different avenues and different lanes, however way you want to do it. Don't just let people tell you that this is what you should do and this is how you need to do it in order to be successful, because a lot of people that was in college, they they really just cheated their whole way through, and they really don't know what they got a degree in. So a lot of them don't have jobs, which I know that that's on them, but I'm telling you to avoid doing that. And also, this is what made me think about that. Cool. The other day, I was watching an episode of Everybody Hates Chris, and in this episode, Chris Rock, he was the guidance counselor, and Chris had came into the room. Well, we're gonna say Rock, and then we're gonna say y'all know who I'm talking about. For the people who never watch Everybody Hates Chris, then it's a show about Chris Rock being played by, I can't think of his name right now, but it's a very funny show. But so Chris Rock took Lil Chris to the bus, so they ride the bus, and then the first bus he was like, everybody who went to college show raise their hands. Nobody raised their hands. So it's black people on the bus. Let me keep that in mind. This show based off the 80s in New York, I believe, somewhere around that time period. But raise their hands. Nobody on the, obviously there's a whole bunch of black people back then. A lot of black people didn't go to college. They raised their hands. Nobody raised their hand. So he was like, wrong bus. So they went to the white people bus. Of course, they raised their hand, whatever. And he was like, okay, so everybody raised their hand. Who wish they had the money for no tuitions? They raised their hand again because they was like, college, they wasted their time in college because they really didn't know who they was. They didn't know what they wanted to do. They kept changing their major. They kept, wasting more time, more money in college and blah, 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 blah. So the moral of the story was know what you want to do before you get to college, or know what you have a plan, have an idea of what you want to do. Look and see if you really need a degree just to go do this thing that you want to do, because that's depending on the institution you go to, that's probably $20,000 in the first 2 years, because some institutions it'd be $5,000 per semester. And say you don't get the scholarships or the grants and stuff like that, that's money coming out of your pocket, and you will have to pay that money regardless. And say, oh, I'm an athlete, I don't want to go to school, I just want to play football or basketball or whatever sport it is you want to play. You still gonna have to focus on school just to be eligible in order to keep your scholarship. And if you're not performing on the field or court or whatever it is that you playing, you're gonna lose your scholarship regardless. So you're gonna have to know, do I really want to do this? Am I really dedicated to this? So just make sure that you really want to go to college, and take the time out if you need it to find yourself before you decide to go on a journey that is college, because it will get stressful. You will, if you're a full-time student and you play sports, you're not really gonna have time to work a job. So you're really gonna be like, you're not gonna have that much money and stuff. Say you're not on a full scholarship, your refund check not gonna be like the other people that you see on TV or that you hear about. You're not gonna have the money like that. So this right here is real stuff that you should be thinking about before you decide if you want to go to college or not. Now, I'm not telling you don't go to college and college is not worth it and nothing like that. I'm just giving you stuff that you should think about before you make your decision. And look at the graduation rates. Look at how many people coming out of graduation, how many people get a job in the field that they went to school for. How long did it take them to get a job in the field? How much does your field pay you to do what you do? Is this something that you would be able to just get by, or would you be comfortable, or would you need to work another job for a couple years in order to start hitting those strides of making the big money that you was looking for? It's a lot of stuff that you should think about when you going to get a new job or going to college, period. It's just a lot of stuff to think about. Make sure before you go, that college is a big decision, and for a lot of the athletes, a lot of y'all need to make sure that y'all have your mental health right before y'all go. I know it's like, oh, we're just playing sports, it's gonna be cool, we don't have to. Nah, bro, you really gonna have to make sure your mental health right, because when you go to college, as soon as you get on campus, you are football, basketball, soccer, tennis, lacrosse, track, whatever it is, that's what you do all day, every day. So you're gonna have to make sure that you're right up here so that you can fully dedicate yourself out there, because as long as you get the job done, they're not gonna care what's going on with you and your personal life. They're gonna tell you that everybody has problems, and that's the real world. That's really how the real world is. So people who don't even play sports, maybe you don't even go to college, you're just watching this. Make sure that your mental health is right, because health is wealth. You don't want to be 50 years old and yeah, you've made this money throughout this time, but you're not here to enjoy it no more or be able to do stuff because you done ran yourself down the drain. So just remember that health is wealth. You're the only one that's going to really look out for yourself. So make sure you know the difference between excuses and really just when you got to take a step back and just get yourself right. So this right here is just a little bit of Tuesday motivation. It ain't Monday, but it's Tuesday motivation, and just something to think about, kind of like a think piece. Maybe this is what the episodes look like when it's just me. A little bit more of the think pieces, a little less of the basketball, a lot less of the basketball. We probably talked about basketball for 2 minutes, 3 minutes. I don't even know how long I've been recording. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it. And if I've been recording for 10 minutes and 13 seconds, I don't know how much of that was basketball and how much of it was just me talking about this. But if y'all enjoyed this style of episode and y'all like me just sitting here talking about that type of stuff and y'all want to hear what DJ got to say about it, just let me know in the comments. Let me know if y'all want to see more episodes of me just talking about this. Maybe y'all want this every day instead of a podcast 2-3 weeks. I mean, 2-3 times out the week, and y'all rather just have me do this the days I don't post podcast episodes because I can do that. But just let me know. What's the word, y'all? I'm out.